Welcome to Grandview Theatre Arts' virtual production of As You Like It by William Shakespeare. Maren Grant plays Rosalind, daughter to Duchess Senior, the banished Duchess. Mary Schabilion plays Celia, Rosalind's cousin, daughter to Duke Fredrick, the usurping Duke. Paul Quinn plays Touchstone, a court fool, and Charles the wrestler at Duke Frederick's court. Niamke Guilford plays Orlando, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys. Noah McClintock plays Oliver, Orlando's older brother. Spencer Sharp plays Adam, a servant to Oliver. Jaques Clouse plays Silvius, a young shepherd in love, and also Duke Fredrick, the usurping Duke. Hanna Wall plays Phoebe, a disdainful shepherdess and second lord to Duke Fredrick. Emma Banner plays Jaques, a melancholy philosopher that attends Duchess Senior. Payton Anderson plays Audrey, a young goat-keeper, and Lady to Duchess Senior. Payton is also our flautist. Raylie Tedder plays Corin, a wise shepherdess and first lord to Duke Fredrick. Emma Hansen plays Duchess Senior, the banished Duchess, sister to Duke Fredrick. Xander Lamont plays Le Beau, a courtier at Duke Frederick's court, and William, a young country boy. Abbi Sawhill plays Amiens, an attendant and musician to Duchess Senior, and Dennis, page to Oliver. Rebecca Miller plays Jackie, the second child to Sir Roland de Boys, and a musician for Duchess Senior. Also, Oliver Martext, a parish priest. Emma Banner, costume assistant and wigs, hair and makeup. Olivia Palmer, scenic design, stage management, properties design. Original music composition. Kyle Bocart. In a kingdom not far from the Forest of Arden, a duchess is ousted by her younger brother and banished to live in the forest. The banished duchess's daughter, Rosalind, was allowed to stay on in the new dukedom because she and her cousin, Celia, the duke's only daughter, are as close as sisters, having been raised together. They would not be parted. Meanwhile, in the unrest of this new duke's reign, brother struggles against brother in another household. In the orchard of Oliver's home.
As I remember, Adam, it was upon this fashion bequeathed me by will, but a poor 1,000 crowns, and as thou sayest, charged my brother on his blessing to breed me well. And there begins my sadness. My sister Jackie, he keeps at school, and reports speak goldenly of her prophet. For my part, he keeps me here, rustically at home, or to speak more properly, keeps me here at home, unkept. For call you the keeping of a gentleman of my birth that differs not from the stalling of an ox. Besides this nothing that he so plentifully gives me, the something that nature gave me, his countenance seems to take from me. He lets me feed with his hinds, bars me from the place of a brother, and as much as in him lies, undermines my gentility with my education. That grieves me, Adam, and the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude, though I know no wise remedy how to avoid it.
Yonder comes my master, your brother.
Go apart, Adam, and thou shalt hear he will shake me up.
Now, sir, what make you here?
Nothing. I'm not taught to make anything.
What mar you then, sir?
Marry, sir, I'm helping you to mar which God has made, a poor unworthy brother of yours with idleness.
Marry, sir, be better employed and be not a while.
Shall I keep your hogs and eat husks with them? What prodigal portion have I spent to come to such penury?
Know you where you are, sir?
Oh, very well, sir, here in your orchard.
Know you before whom, sir?
Aye, better than him I know before he knows me. I know you are my eldest brother, and in the gentle condition of blood, you should so know me. The courtesy of nations allows you my better, and that you're the firstborn. But the same tradition takes not away from my blood. Were there 20 brothers betwixt us, I'd have as much of my father in me as you.
What, boy?
Come, elder brother, you are too young in this.
Thou lay hands on me, villain?
I am no villain. I'm the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys. He was my father, and he is thrice a villain that says such a father begot villains. Wert thou not my brother, I would not take this hand from thy throat, till the other hand pull out thy tongue for saying so. Thou hast railed on thyself.
Sweet masters, be patient, for your father's remembrance be at accord.
Let me go, I say.
I will not until I please. You shall hear me. My father charged you on his will to breed me well and give me good education. You have trained me like a peasant, obscuring and hiding me from all gentlemanlike qualities. The spirit of my father grows strong in me, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore, either allow me such exercises as may become a gentleman, or leave me the poor lottery my father left me. With that, I will go and buy my own fortunes.
And what? Beg when that is spent? Well, sir, get you in. I will not long be troubled with you. You shall have some part of your will. I pray you, leave me.
I will no further offend thee.
Get you with me, old dog.
Is old dog my reward? Most true. I have lost my teeth in your service. God be with my old master. He would not have spoke such a word.
Even so, begin you to grow upon me. I will physic your rankness, and yet give no 1,000 crowns neither. Holla, Dennis.
Calls, your worship.
Was not Charles, the Duchess's wrestler, here to speak of me?
He'll please you. He's here at the door and importunes access to you.
Go on, in. This'll be a good way. And tomorrow the wrestling is.
Good morrow to your worship.
Good, Mr. Charles. What's the new news of the new court?
There's no news at the court, sir, but the old news. That is, the old Duchess is banished by her younger brother, the new Duke, and 3 or 4 loving ladies have put themselves into voluntary exile with her, whose lands and revenues enrich the new Duke, therefore he gives them good leave to wander.
Can you tell if Rosalind, the Duchess's daughter, be banished with her mother?
Oh no, for the Duke's daughter, her cousin so loves her that, being ever from the cradle bred together, would have died, or stayed behind her. She is at the court, and no less beloved of her uncle than his own daughter, and never 2 ladies loved as they do.
Where will the old Duchess live?
They say she is already in the forest of Arden, and a many merry women with her, and there they live like the old Robin Hood of England.
What? You wrestle tomorrow with the new Duke?
Marry do I, sir, and I came hither to acquaint thee with a matter. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother Orlando hath a disposition to come in disguised against me to try a fall. Tomorrow I wrestle for my credit, and he that escapes me without some broken limb shall acquit him well. Your brother is but young and tender, and for your love, I would be loath to foil him, as I must for my own honor, if he come. Therefore, out of love for you, I came hither to acquaint thee with all.
I thank thee, Charles, for thy love to me, which thou shalt find I'll most kindly requite. I had myself noticed my brother's purpose herein, and have by underhand means labored to dissuade him from it. But he is resolute. I'll tell thee, Charles, it is the stubbornest young fellow of France, full of ambition, an envious emulator of every man's good parts, a secret and villainous contriver against me, his natural brother. Therefore use thy discretion. I had as lief I would break his neck as his finger. And thou wert best look to it, for if thou dost him any slight disgrace, or if he do not mightily grace himself on thee, he will practice against thee by poison, and trap thee by some treacherous device, and never leave thee till he have taken thy life by some indirect means or other. For I assure thee, and almost with tears I speak it, there is not one so young and so villainous this day living.
I am heartily glad I came hither to you. If he come tomorrow, I'll give him his payment.
Farewell, good Charles. Now, will I stir this gamester? I hope I shall see an end of him, for my soul. Yet I know not why hates nothing more than he. For he is gentle, never schooled, and yet learned, full of noble device, of all sorts enchantingly beloved. And indeed, so much in the heart of the world, and especially my own people, who best know him, that I am altogether misprized. But it shall not be so long. This wrestler shall clear all. Nothing remains but I kindle the boy thither, which now I'll go about.
At Duke Fredrick's palace.
I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet my coz, be merry.
Here, Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of, and would you yet I were merrier? Unless you could teach me to forget a banished mother, you must not learn me how to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
You know my father hath no child but I, nor none is like to have, and truly when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken away from thy mother perforce, I will render thee again in affection. By mine honor, I will. And when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry.
From henceforth I will, coz, and devise sports. Let me see. What think you of falling in love?
Marry, I prithee do, to make sport withal, but love no man in good earnest, nor no further in sport than with safety of a pure blush thou mayst in honor come off again.
What shall be our sport then?
How now, wit, whither wander you?
Mistress, you must come away to your father.
Were you made the messenger?
No, by mine honor, but I was bid to come for you.
Where learned you that oath, fool?
Of a certain knight that swore by his honor that the pancakes were good, and swore by his honor the mustard was not. Now I'll stand to it, the pancakes were not, and the mustard was good, and yet was not the knight forsworn.
How prove you that in the great heap of your knowledge?
Aye, marry, now unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both forth now, stroke your chins, and swear by your beards that I am a knave.
By our beards, if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, if I had it, then I were. But if you swear by that that is not, then thou art not forsworn. No more was this knight swearing by his honor, for he never had any. Or if he had, he'd sworn it away long before he'd ever seen those pancakes or that mustard.
Prithee, who is that thou meanest?
One that old Duke your father loves.
My father's love is enough to honor him. Enough, speak no more of him. You'll be whipped for taxation one of these days.
The more pity that fools may not speak wisely, what wise men do foolishly.
By my troth, thou sayest true. For, since the little witch that fools have was silenced, the little foolery that wise men have makes a great show. Here comes Monsieur Lebeau.
With his mouth full of news.
Which he will put on us as pigeons feed their young. Bonjour, Monsieur Lebeau. What's the news?
Oh, princess, you have lost much good sport.
Sport? Of what color?
What color, madame? How shall I answer you?
As wit and fortune will.
Or as the destinies decree.
Well said. That was laid on with the trowel.
Nay, if I keep not my rank.
Thou losest thy old smell.
You amaze me, ladies. I would have told you good wrestling, which you have lost the sight of.
Yet tell us the manner of the wrestling.
I will tell you the beginning, and if it pleases your ladyships, you may see the end. But the best is yet to do, and here where you are, they are coming to perform it.
Well, the beginning, that is dead and buried.
There comes an old man and his 3 sons.
I could match this beginning with an old tale.
3 proper young men of excellent growth and presence.
With bills on their necks, be it known to all men by these presents.
The eldest of the 3 wrestled with Charles the Duke's wrestler, which Charles in a moment threw him and broke 3 of his ribs. That there was little hope of life in him. So he served the second, and so the third. Their father making such pitiful dole of them, that the beholders take their part with weeping.
Alas.
But what is the sport, monsieur, that the ladies have lost?
Why, this that I speak of.
Thus men may grow wiser every day. It is the first time I've ever heard of breaking ribs was a sport for ladies.
Or I promise thee.
But is there any else longs to see this broken music in his sides? Is there yet another dotes upon rib breaking? Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
You must if you stay here, for here is the place appointed for the wrestling, and they are ready to perform it.
Yonder, sure they are coming. Let us stay now and see it.
Come on! Such a youth will not be entreated, his own peril and his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madame.
Alas, he is too young, yet he looks successfully.
How now, daughter and cousin? Are you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Aye, my liege, so please you give us leave.
You will take little delight in it, I can tell you. There were such odds in this man. In pity of the challenger's youth, I would dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him. Ladies, see if you can move him.
Call him hither, good Monsieur Lebeau.
Monsieur the challenger, the princesses call for you.
I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess. He is the general challenger. I come but in, as others do, to chime with the strength of my youth.
Young gentlemen, your spirits are too bold for your years. If you saw yourself with your eyes, or you knew yourself with your judgment, the fear of your adventure would counsel you to a more equal enterprise. We pray you, for your own sake, to embrace your own safety and to give over this attempt.
Do, young sir, your reputation shall not therefore be misprized. We will make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling might not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny such fair and excellent young ladies anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to trial, wherein if I be foiled, there's but one shame that was never favored. If killed, then one dead that was willing to be so. I will do my friends no wrong, for I have none to limit me. The world no injury, for in it I have nothing. Only in the world I fill up a place that may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
What little strength I have, I would it were with you.
And mine, to eke out hers.
Fare you well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Your heart's desires be with you.
Come! Where is this young gallant that is so desirous to lie with his mother earth?
Ready, sir, but his will hath in it a more modest working.
You shall try but one fall.
No, I warrant your grace. You shall not entreat him to a second that has so mightily persuaded him from a first.
And you mean to mock me after? You should not have mocked me before. But come thy ways.
Now, Hercules be thy speed, young man.
I would I were invisible to catch the strong fellow by the leg.
Young man!
If I had a thunderbolt in my eye, I could tell who should down.
No more! No more! How dost thou, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord!
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys.
I would thou hadst been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father honorable, but I find him still mine enemy. Thou should have been pleased with this deed, hast descended from another house, but fare thee well, thou art a gallant youth. I would thou hadst told me another father.
Were I my father, cuz, would I do this?
I am more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son, and would not change that calling to be the adopted heir to Fredrick.
My mother loved Sir Roland as her soul, and all the world was in my mother's mind. Had I before known this young man his son, I would have given tears unto entreaties ere he should thus have ventured.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank him and encourage him. My father's rough and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved. If you do keep your promises in love, but justly, as you've exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of suits with fortune that could give more, but that her hand lacks means. Shall we go, cuz?
Aye, fare you well, fair gentlemen.
Can I not say thank you? All my better parts are all thrown down, and what's left here is but a quintain, a mere lifeless block.
He calls us back. My pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Have with you. Fare you well.
Oh, what passions hang these weights upon my tongue. I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference. Oh, thou Orlando, thou art overthrown.
Good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place, albeit you have deserved high commendation, true applause and love. And such as now the Duke's condition, they misconstrues all you have done. The Duke is humorous, what he is indeed more suits to you to conceive than I to speak of.
Well, I thank you, sir. But pray you, tell me this. Which of the two was daughter of the Duke that was here at the wrestling?
Neither his daughter, if we judge by manners, but yet indeed the smaller is his daughter. The other is daughter to the banished Duchess, and here detained by her usurping uncle to keep his daughter company, whose loves are dearer than the natural bond of sisters. But I can tell you that of late this Duke hath taken his pleasure against his gentle niece, granted upon no other argument, but that the people praise her for her virtues, and pity her for her good father's sake. And on my life, his malice against the lady will suddenly break forth. Sir, fare you well. Hereafter in a better world than this, I shall desire more love and knowledge of you.
I rest much bounded to you. Fare you well. Thus I must from one smoke into smother, from tyrant Duke until one tyrant brother. Oh, but heavily, Rosalind.
A lawn near the palace.
My cousin. Why, Rosalind, Cupid have mercy, not a word?
Not one to throw at a dog.
No, thy words are too precious to be thrown away upon curs. Throw some of them at me. Is all this for my father?
No, some of it is for my child's father. Oh, how full of briars is this working day world.
They are but burrs, cousin, thrown upon thee in holiday foolery. If we walk not in the trodden paths, our very petticoats will catch them.
I could shake them off my coat. These burrs are in my heart.
Come, wrestle with thy affections.
Oh, they take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Oh, a good wish upon you. You will try in time in despite of the fall, but turning these jests out of service, let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible that on such a sudden you should fall into so strong a liking of old Sir Rowland's youngest son?
The Duchess, my mother, loved his father dearly.
Doth that therefore ensue that you should love him dearly? By that kind of chase I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly. Yet I hate not Orlando.
No, faith, hate him not, for my sake.
Why not? Doth he not deserve well?
Let me love him for that, and do you love him because I do? Look, here comes the Duke.
With his eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste, and get you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin, within these 10 days, if thou beest found so near a public court as 20 miles, thou dice for it.
I do beseech your grace, let me the knowledge of myself bear with me. If I have intelligence or hold acquaintance with mine own desires, if that I do not dream or be not frantic, as I do trust I am not, then, dear uncle, never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thus do all traitors. If their vacation did consist in words, they are as innocent as grace itself. Let it suffice that thee I trust thee not.
Yet your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me whereon the likelihood depends.
Thou art thy mother's daughter. There's enough.
So was I when you took her dukedom. So was I when your highness banished her. Treason is not inherited, my lord. Or if we did derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My mother was no traitor. Then, could my liege mistake me not so much to think my poverty is treacherous?
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
Aye, Celia, we stay here for your sake. Else had your mother ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. I was too young at the time to value her, but now I know her. If she be a traitor, why, so am I. Still, we have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played, eat together, and wheresoever we went, like Juno's swans, still we went coupled and inseparable.
She is too subtle for thee. in her smoothness, her very silence, and her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool. She robs thee of thy name, and thou she will more bright and see more virtuous when she is gone. Then not open thy lips. Firm and revocable is my doom which I passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
You are a fool. You, niece, provide yourself. If you outstay the time, upon my honor, my greatness, and my word, you die.
Oh, my poor Rosalind, whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change parents? I will give thee mine. I charge thee, be not thou more grieved than I am.
I have more cause.
Thou hast not, cousin. Knowst thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
No, hath not. Rosalind lacks then the love that teacheth thee that thou and I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No, let my father seek another heir. Therefore devise with me how we may fly, whither to go and what to bear with us.
Why, whither shall we go?
To seek my aunt in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger will it be to us, maids as we are, to travel forth so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face. The like do you, so shall we pass along and never stir assailants.
Were it not better, because that I am more than common tall, that I did suit me all points like a man? Gallant curtleaxe upon my thigh, a boar spear in my hand, and in my heart lie there what hidden woman's fear there will. We'll have a swashing and a martial outside, as many mannish cowards do, that do outface it with their semblances.
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse a name than Jove's own page, and therefore look you call me Ganymede. But what shall you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliena.
But, cousin, what if we essay to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travel?
He'll go along over the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Now, let's away and get our jewels and our wealth together, devise the fittest time and safest way to hide from pursuit that will be made after my flight. Now go we together and content to liberty, and not to banishment.
At the Duchess's encampment in the forest of Arden.
Now, my comrades and sisters in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here we feel not the penalty of Adam, the season's difference, as the icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which, as it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is no flattery. These are the counselors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which, like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in its head. And this our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
I would not change it. Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, shall we go kill us a venison? And yet it irks me that the poor dappled fools, being native burghers of this desert city, should in their own confines with their forked heads have their round haunches gored.
Indeed, my lady, the melancholy Jaques agrees at that, and in kind swears you do more usurp than doth your brother, that hath banished you.
Show me the place where she is. I love to cope her in these sullen fits, for then she's full of matter.
I'll bring you to her straight.
At Duke Fredrick's palace.
Can it be possible that no man saw them? It cannot be. Some villains of my court are consent and sufferance in this.
I cannot hear of any that did see her. The ladies her attendants of her chamber saw her abed, and in the morning early, They found the bed untreasured of their mistress.
My lord, the roguish clown at whom so oft your grace was wont to laugh is also missing. Hesperia, the princess's gentlewoman, confesses that she secretly o'erheard your daughter and her cousin much commend the parts and graces of the wrestler that did but lately foil the sinewy Charles, and she believes wherever they are gone, the youth is surely in their company.
Send it to his brother. Fetch that gallant hither. If he be absent, then bring his brother to me. I'll make him find him. Do this suddenly, and let not the search and inquisition quail to bring again these foolish runaways.
In the forest of Arden.
Who's there?
What, my young master? Oh, my gentle master. Oh, my sweet master. Oh, you memory of old Sir Roland. Why? What made you here? Why are you virtuous? Why do people love you? And wherefore are you gentle, strong, and valiant? Why would you be so fond to overcome the bonny prizer of the humorous duke? Your praise has come too swiftly home before you. Know you not, master? To some kind of men, their graces serve them, but as enemies?
Why? What's the matter?
O unhappy youth, come not within these doors. Within this roof, the enemy of your graces lives. Your brother, no brother. Yet the son, yet not the son, I will not call him son. Of him I was about to call his father, hath heard your praises. And this night he means to burn the lodging where you used to lie, and you within it. If he fail of that, he will have other means to cut you off. This is no place, this house but a butchery. Abhor it, fear it, do not enter it.
Why? Whither, Adam? What's time you go?
No matter whither, so you come not here.
Would thou have me go and beg for food, or with a base and a boisterous sword to go in and enforce the thieves living on the common road?
But do not so. I have 500 crowns. The thrifty hire I saved under your father, which I did store to be my foster nurse, when service should and my old limbs lie lame, and unregarded age in corners thrown. Take that, and he that doth the ravens feed, yea, providently caters to the sparrow, be comfort to my age. Here is the gold. All this I give you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, yet I am strong and lusty. For I never did apply hot and rebellious liquors in my blood, nor did not with unbashful forehead woo the means of weakness and debility. Therefore my age is as a lusty winter, frosty but kindly. Let me go with you. I'll do the service of a younger man in all your business and necessities.
Good old man. How well in me appears the constant service of the antique world, where service sweat for duty and not for meed. Thou art not for the fashion of these times, where none will sweat but for promotion, and even with having that, they choke up their service, even with the having. It is not so with thee. But, poor old man, thou prunest a small tree or a rotten tree that cannot so much as a blossom yield in lieu of all thy pains and husbandry. But come that ways, we'll go on together, and before we have all thy youthful wages spent, we'll go light upon some low settled content.
Master, go on, and I will follow thee to the last gasp with truth and loyalty. From 17 years till now, almost 80, here lived I, but now live here no more. At 17 years, many their fortunes seek, but at 80 it is too late a week. Yet fortune cannot recompense me better than to die well and not my master's debtor.
In another part of the forest of Arden, we join the banished Rosalind in disguise as Ganymede and Celia as Aliena, along with the faithful clown, Touchstone.
Oh, Jupiter, how weary are my spirits!
I care not for my spirits if my legs were not so weary.
I could find in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel and to cry like a woman. But I must comfort the weaker vessel, as doublet and hose ought to show itself courageous to petticoat. Therefore, courage, good Aliena.
I pray you, bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I should rather bear with you than bear you. Yet I should bear no cross if I did bear you, for I think you have no money in your purse.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Now I'm in the forest of Arden, the more fool I. When I were at home, I were in a better place, but travelers must be content.
Aye, be so, good Touchstone. Look you who comes here, a young man and an old shepherd in solemn talk.
That is the way to make her scorn you still.
Oh, Corn, thou knewest how I do love her.
I partly guess, for I have loved ere now.
Now, Corn, being old, thou cannot guess. Thou in thy youth wast a true lover, as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love were ever like mine, as sure I think never man loved so, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Into 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Thou did not never love so heartedly. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run into, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not sat as I do now, wearing the heather in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast broke not from company, abruptly, as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe! Phoebe! Phoebe!
Shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine, but it grows something stale with me.
I pray you, one of you question yon woman if she for gold will give us any food. I faint almost to death.
Holla, you clown!
Peace, fool, she's not thy kinsman.
Who calls?
Your betters, madam.
Else are they very wretched?
Peace, I say. Good even to you, friend.
And to you, gentle sir, and to you all.
I prithee, shepherd, if that lover gold can in this desert place buy entertainment, bring us where we may rest and feed. Here's a young maid with travel much oppressed and faints for succor.
Fair sir, I pity her, and wish for her sake more than mine own that my fortunes were more able to relieve her. But I am shepherd to another man, and do not shear the fleeces that I graze. My master is of churlish disposition, and little recks to find the way to heaven by doing deeds of hospitality. Besides, his coat, his flock, and bounds of feed are now on sale, and at our sheepcote now, by reason of his absence, there is nothing for you to feed on. But what is, come see, and in my voice most welcome shall you be.
What is he that shall buy his flock and pasture?
That young swain that you saw here but erewhile, that little cares for buying anything.
I pray thee, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage, pasture, and the flock, and you shall have to pay for it of us.
And who will mend thy wages? I like this place, and willingly could waste my time in it.
Assuredly, the thing is to be sold. Go with me. If you like upon report the profit, the soil, and this kind of life, I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly.
In another part of the forest of Arden, Jaques muses apart from the group.
Unto the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with thee, and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither, here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather.
But more, I prithee more.
Will make you melancholy, Madame Jaques.
I thank it. More, I prithee more. I can suck melancholy out of a song like a weasel sucks eggs. More, I prithee more.
My voice is ragged. I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I desire you to sing. Come, another stanzo. Call you, stanzos?
What you will, Madame Jaques.
Nay, I care not for their names. They owe me nothing. Will you sing?
More at your request than to please myself.
More, I prithee more, and those who will not hold your tongues.
Well, I'll end the song. Ladies, cover the while. The Duchess will drink under this tree. She hath been all this day to look you.
And I have been all this day to avoid her. She is too disputable for my company. I think of as many matters as she, but I give heaven thanks and make no boast of them. Come, warble, come.
Who doth ambition shine and love to live in the sun, seeking the food he eats and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither, here shall he see no enemy but winter and rough weather.
I'll go seek the Duchess. Her banquet is prepared.
In another part of the Forest of Arden, Orlando and Adam arrive.
Oh, dear master, I can go no further. Oh, I die for food. Here I lie down and measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
Why now, Adam? No greater heart in thee? Live a little, comfort a little, cheer thyself a little. If this uncouth forest yield anything savage, I'll either be food for it or bring it food to thee. I'll be here with thee presently. And if I bring thee not something to eat, then I give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I come, thou art a mocker of my labor. Well said. Well, thou lookest cheerly, and I will be with thee quickly.
The Duchess searches in the Forest of Arden for the absent Jaques before they begin their forest banquet.
I think she'd be transformed into a beast, for I can nowhere find her like a human.
My lady, she is but even now gone hence. Here was she merry, hearing of a song.
If she, compact of jars, grow musical, we shall have shortly discord in the spheres. Oh, go seek her. Tell her that I would speak with her.
She saves me my labor by her own approach.
Why, how now, madame? What a life is this that your poor friends must woo your company? What? You look merrily.
A fool! I met a fool in the forest. As I do live by food, I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun and railed on Lady Fortune in good terms, in good set terms, and yet a motley fool. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he. Call me not a fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke, and looking on it with a lackluster eye, says very wisely, "It is 10 o'clock. Thus we may see," quoth he, "how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and after 1 more hour 'twill be 11. And so from hour to hour we ripe, and from hour to hour we rot, and thereby hangs a tale." Oh, as I did hear the fool thus moral on the time, my lungs begin to crow like chanticleer. That fools should be so deep contemplative. Oh, and I did laugh sans intermission an hour by his dial. Oh, noble fool, a worthy fool. Motley's the only wear.
What fool is this?
A worthy fool, one that hath been a courtier and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. Oh, and in his brain, which is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a voyage, the which he hath strange places crammed with observation, and in the which he vents in mangled forms. Oh, if I were a fool, I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one.
It is my only suit, provided that you weed your better judgments that grow rank in them that I am wise. I must have liberty with all, as large a charter as the wind, to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. And they that are most galled with my folly, they most must laugh. Give me leave to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the infected world, if they will patiently receive my medicine.
Oh, fie on thee. I can tell what thou wouldst do.
What for a counter? But who comes here?
Forbear and eat no more.
Why, I have eaten none yet.
Nor shalt not to necessity be served.
But what should this cock come of?
Art thou thus bolden, man, by thy distress, or else a rude despiser of good manners, that in civility thou seemst so empty?
You touched my vein at first. The thorny point of bare distress hath taken from me the show of smooth civility, though I am inland bred and know some nurture. But forbear, he dies that touches any of this food until my affairs have been answered.
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently? Pardon me, I pray you. I thought all things had been savage down here, and therefore I put on this countenance of stern commandment. But whate'er you are, if ever you looked on better days, if ever you been where bells knoll to church, if ever you sat at any good man's feast, if ever you wiped a tear and known what 'tis to pity and to be pitied, then let gentleness my enforcement be, in which the hope I blush and hide my sword.
Who is it that we have seen better days, and have with holy bell been knolled to church, and sat at good men's feast, and wiped our eyes that sacred pity hath engendered? And therefore sit you down in gentleness. Thou seest we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theatre presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then the schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail unwillingly to school. Then the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. Then the justice, in fair round belly, with good capon lined, with eyes severe, and a beard of formal cut, with modern instances and wise saws, and still he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved for a world too wide in his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning in again towards childish trouble in his pipes and whistles in sound. The last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is mere oblivion and second childishness. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome. Set down your venerable burden, and let him feed.
I thank you most for him.
So had you need. scarce can speak to thank you for myself.
Welcome. Fall to. I will not trouble you as to yet question you about your fortunes. Give us some music, cousin, and sing.
Blow thou into wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. Thy tooth is not so keen because thou art not seen, although thy breath be rude. Hi ho, sing hi ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship so feigning, most loving mere folly, then hi ho, the holly. This life is most jolly. Freeze, freeze, thou bitter sky, thou dost not bite so nigh, as benefits forgot. Thou the water's warmth, thy sting is not so sharp, as friend remembers not. Hi ho, sing hi ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship so feigning, most loving mere folly, then hi ho, the holly. This life is most jolly.
If that you were the good Sir Roland's son, as you have whispered faithfully that you were, and as mine eyes doth witness his effigies, most truly limbed and living in your face, be truly welcome hither. I am the Duchess that loved your father. The residue of your fortune go to my cave and tell me. And good old man, thou art right welcome, as thy master is. Support him by the arm, and give me your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand.
At the Duke's palace, Oliver is interrogated about the whereabouts of his brother, Orlando.
Not seen him since. Sir, that cannot be. For I have not better part made mercy. I shall not seek an abstract argument of my revenge. Thou present. But, look to it. Find out thy brother's error so he is. So seek him with the candle. Bring him, dead or living, within this 12-month. Or, turn thou no more to seeking living in our territory. Thy lands of all things that dost call thine, were seizure. Do we seize into our hands till thou can't quit by thee brother's mouth of what we think against thee?
Oh, that your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
More villain thou. Well, push him out the doors and let my officers of such nature make an extent upon his house and lands. Do this expediently and turn him going.
Near the cottage where Rosalind, Celia, and Touchstone now live.
Hang there. My verse. In the witness of my love, O Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, in their barks my thoughts, our character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witness everywhere. Run one, Orlando, carve on every tree, the fair, the chaste, the unexpressive she.
And how like you the shepherd's life, Master Touchstone?
Truly, in respect of itself, it is a good life. But in respect that it is a shepherd's life, it is not. In respect that it is solitary, I like it very well. But in respect that it is private, it is a very vile life. Now, in respect that it is in the fields, it pleaseth me well. But in respect that it is not in court, it is tedious. As it is a spare life, look you, it fits my humor well. But as there's no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Hast any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
No more than that I know. The more one sickens, the worse at ease he is. that he that wants money, means, and content is without 3 good friends, that the property of rain is to wet, fire to burn, that good pasture makes fat sheep, that a great cause of the night is lack of the sun, and that he that hath learned no wit by nature nor by art may complain of good breeding, or comes of a very dull kindred.
Such a one is a natural philosopher. Was ever in court, shepherd?
No, truly.
Oh, then thou art damned.
Nay, I hope.
Truly, thou art damned, like an ill-roasted egg, all on one side.
For not being at court, your reason?
Why, if thou never wast at court, thou never sawest good manners. If thou never sawest good manners, thy manners must be wicked, and wickedness is a sin, and sin is damnation. Thou art in a parlous state, shepherd.
Not a whit, Touchstone. Those that have good manners at the court are as ridiculous in the country as the country is most mockable at the court. You say you salute not at the court, but kiss your hands. That courtesy would be most uncleanly if courtiers were shepherds.
Instance briefly, come, instance.
Why, we've been handling our ewes, and their fellows, you know, are greasy.
Why, do not your courtiers' hands sweat? Is not the grease of a mutton as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Shallow, shallow. A better instance, I say, come.
Besides, our hands are hard.
Your lips will feel them sooner. Shallow again, a more sounder instance, come.
You have too courtly a wit for me. I'll rest.
Wilt thou rest damned? God help thee, shallow woman.
Sir, I am a true laborer. I earn what I eat, get what I wear. Owe no man hate, envy no men's happiness, glad for other men's good, content with my harm, and the greatest of my pride is to see my ewes graze and my lambs suck. Here comes young Master Ganymede, my new mistress's brother.
From the east to western end, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth being mounted on the wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lined are but black to Rosalind. Let no face be kept in mind but the fair of Rosalind.
I'll rhyme you the 8 years together. Dinners and suppers and sleeping hours accepted. It is the right butter women's right to market.
Out, fool.
For a taste. If a heart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosalind. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosalind. Winter garments must be lined, so must slender Rosalind. He that reap must sheaf and bind, then to cart with Rosalind. Sweetest nut hath sourest rind, such a nut is Rosalind. He that sweetest rose will find, must find love's prick and Rosalind. This is the very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect them? Why do you infect yourself with them?
Peace, you dull fool. I found them on a tree.
Truly, the tree yields bad fruit.
Peace. There comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
Why should this a desert be? For it is unpeopled? No. Tongues will hang on every tree that shall civil sayings show. Somehow brief the life of man runs his earring pilgrimage, that the stretching of a span buckles in his sum of age. Some of violated vows twixt the souls of friend and friend, but upon the fairest boughs are at every sentence end. Well, I, Rosalinda, write, teaching all that read to know the quintessence of every sprite heaven would in little show. Therefore heaven nature charged that one body should be filled with all graces wide enlarged. Nature presently distilled Helen's cheek, but not her heart, Cleopatra's majesty, Atalanta's better part, sad Lucretia's modesty. Thus Rosalind of many parts, by heavenly synod was devised, of many faces, eyes, and hearts, to have the touches dearest prized. Heaven would that she these gifts should have, and I could live and die her slab.
Oh, most gentle Jupiter, what tedious homily of love have you wearied parishioners withal, and never cried, have patience, good people.
How now? Back, friends. Shepherd, go off a little. Go with them, sirrah.
Come, shepherd, let us make an honorable retreat.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Yes, I heard them all and more too, for some of them had in them more feet than the verses would bear.
But didst thou hear without wondering how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees?
I was 7 of the 9 days out of the wonder before you came, for look ye what I found in a palm tree.
Trow you who hath done this.
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore about his neck. Change you color.
I prithee, who?
Oh, Lord, Lord.
Nay, but who is it?
Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee now, with most petitionary vehemence, tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful, and after that out of all whooping.
Could my complexion, dost thou think that though I'm caparisoned like a man, I have a doublet and hose in my disposition? I prithee, take the cork out of thy mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly.
Is he of God's making? What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat, or his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
Why, God will send more, if the man will be thankful. Let me stay on the growth of his beard, if you delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando that tripped up the wrestler's heels and your heart, both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speak sad brow and true, maid.
If faith, cuz, 'tis he.
Orlando?
Orlando.
Alas the day, what shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou saw'st him? What said he? Where went he? Did he ask for me? How looked he? When wilt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me Gargantua's mouth first.
But does he know that I am in this forest and in man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
It is as easy to count atomies as to resolve the propositions of a lover. But take a taste of my finding him and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree, like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Jove's tree when it drops forth such fruit.
Give me audience, good madame.
Proceed.
There lay he, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Well, that would be a pity to see such a sight. It well becomes the ground.
Cry holla to thy tongue, I prithee. He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous, he comes to kill my heart.
I would sing my song without a burden. Thou bringst me out of tune.
Do you not know I am a woman? When I think, I must speak. Sweet, say on.
You bring me out. Soft, comes he not here?
'Tis he. Slink by and note him.
I thank you for your company, but good faith, I had as lief been myself alone.
And so had I, but for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society.
God be with you. Let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
And I pray you mar no more trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favoredly.
Rosalind is your love's name?
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
Ah, you have a nimble wit. Will you sit down with me? And we too will rail against our mistress, the world, and all our misery.
I will chide no breather in the world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I will not change for your best virtue. I'm weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you.
He's drowned in the brook. Look but in and you shall see him.
I'll tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
I'm glad of your departure. Adieu, Madam Melancholy.
Speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forester?
Very well, what would you?
I pray you, what is it o'clock?
You should ask me what time of day it is. There is no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had not that been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in divers paces with divers persons. I'll tell you who time ambles withal, who time trots withal, who time gallops withal, and who time stands still withal.
I prithee, Who doth he troth withal?
Marry, he trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but a se'nnight, time's pace seems so long that it seems the length of 7 year.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin, and a rich man that hath not the gout. For the one sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. The one lacking the burden of lean and wasteful learning, the other feeling not the burden of heavy, tedious penury. These time ambles withal.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows, for though he goes as soft as foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who stays it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation, for they sleep between term and perceive not how time moves.
Ah, where dwell you, pretty youth?
With this shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest like fringe on a petticoat.
Are you native to this place?
As the coney you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than can be purchased in so removed a dwelling.
I have been told so of many, but indeed an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him tell many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman to be touched with so many giddy offenses as he has generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of these principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
There were none principal. Each were as like another as halfpence are, the one's fault seeming monstrous till its fellow fault came to match it.
I prithee recount some of them.
No, I will not throw away my physic but on those who are sick. There is a man that haunts these forests, that abuses our young plants with carving Rosalind in their barks, hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies upon brambles, all, forsooth, deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
Well, I am that he that is so love-shaken. I pray you, tell me your remedy.
You have none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I am sure you are not prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not, a blue eye and sunken, which you have not, an unquestionable spirit, which you have not, a beard neglected, which you have not, but I will pardon you for that, for simply your having a beard is a younger brother's revenue. Then, your hose shall be unguarded, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoes untied, and everything about you displaying a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, as loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
I would I could make thee believe how you love.
Me believe it? You were sooner make her that you love believe it, which I believe that she is apter to do than to confess that she does, for that is one of the points that women do lie to their conscience. But, in good sooth, are you he that leaves these rhymes on the trees in which the name Rosalind is so deified?
Swear to the youth by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so in love as your rhymes do speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as much a dark house and a whipper as madmen do. And the reason that they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that even the whippers are in love too. But I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one in this manner. He was to imagine me, his love, his mistress, and I set him to come and woo me every day, at which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, full of tears, full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything, as boys and women, for the most part, are cattle of this color, would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, would now weep for him, now spit at him, that I drave my suitor out of his mad humor of love into a living humor of madness, that he was to forswear the full stream of the world and to live in a nook merely monastic. And thus did I cure him. In this way will I set out to clean your liver, as clean as a sound sheep's heart, there not be one spot of love in't.
I would not be cured you.
I would cure you if you would but call me Rosalind and come every day to my cottage and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Come with me and I will show it to you. And by the way, you will show me where in the forest you dwell. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Will you go, sister?
In a secret meeting spot, Touchstone and Audrey prepare to marry.
Come apace, good Audrey. I will fetch thy goats, Audrey. And how, Audrey, am I the man yet? Doth my simple feature content you?
Your features? The Lord warrants us. What features?
I am here with thee and thy goats, as the most capricious poet honest Ovid was among the Goths.
Oh, knowledge ill inhabited, worse than Jove in a thatched house.
When a man's verses cannot be understood, nor a man's good wit seconded with the forward child, understanding it strikes a man more dead than a great reckoning in a little room. Truly, I would the gods had made thee poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest in deed and in word? Is it a true thing?
No, truly, for the truest poetry is most feigning, and lovers are given to poetry, and what they swear in poetry may be said as lovers they do feign.
Do you wish, then, that the gods had made me poetical?
I do, truly, for thou swearest to me thou art honest. Now, if thou wert a poet, I might have some hope thou didst feign.
Would you not have me honest?
No, truly, for honesty coupled to beauty is to have honey as sauce to sugar.
A material fool.
Well, I am not fair, and therefore I pray that the gods make me honest.
Truly, and to cast honesty away upon a foul slut were to put good meat into an unclean dish.
I am not a slut, though I thank the gods I am foul.
I thank the gods for thy foulness. Sluttishness may come hereafter, but be it as it may, I will marry thee. And to that end I have been with Sir Oliver Martex, the vicar of the next village, who hath promised to meet me in this place of the forest here, and to couple us.
I would fain see this meeting.
Well, the gods give us joy.
Amen. Oh, here comes Sir Oliver. Sir Oliver Martex, you are well met. Will you dispatch us here under this tree, or should we go with you to your chapel?
Is there none here to give this woman?
I will not take her on gift of any man.
Truly she must be given, or the marriage is unlawful.
Oh, proceed. Proceed. I'll give her.
Good even, good madam, what you call it. How fare you? You are very well met. Good ill you for your last visit. Even a toy in hand here, madam. Nay, prithee be covered.
Will you be married, Motley?
As the ox hath his bow, the horse his curb, and the falcon her bells, so man hath his desires. And as pigeon's bill, wedlock would be nibbling.
And will you, being a man of your breeding, be married under a bush like a beggar, get you to church and have you a good priest that can tell you what marriage is? Oh. This fellow will but join you together as they join wainscot, and one of you will prove a shrunk panel and like green timber warp warp.
I am not in the mind, but I were better to be married of him than of another, for he is not likely to marry me well, and not being well married, it will be a good excuse hereafter to leave my wife.
Go thou with me, and let me counsel thee.
Come, Audrey, we must be married, or we must live in bawdry. Farewell, good Master Oliver.
Elsewhere in the forest, Ganymede awaits the return of Orlando.
Never talk to me, I will weep.
Do I, prithee, but yet have grace to consider that tears do not become a man.
But have I not cause to weep?
As good cause as one would desire, therefore weep.
His very hair is of the dissembling color.
Something browner than Judas's. Mary, whose kisses are Judas's own children.
If faith, his hair is of a good color.
An excellent color. Your chestnut was ever the only color.
His kissing is as full of sanctity as the touch of holy bread.
A nun of winter's sisterhood kisses not more religiously. The very ice of chastity is in them.
But why did he swear he would come this morning and comes not?
Nay, there is no truth in him.
Do you think so?
Yes, I think he's not a pick-purse nor a horse stealer, but for his verity in love, I do think him as concave as a covered goblet or a worm-eaten nut.
Not true in love.
Yes, when he is in, but I think he is not in.
You've heard him swear downright he was.
Was is not is. Besides, the oath of a lover is as good as the word of a tapster. They are both the confirmer of false reckonings. He attends here in the forest on the Duchess, your mother.
I saw the Duchess yesterday and had much talk with her. She asked me of what parentage I was. I told her I was as good as she, and she laughed and let me go. But what talk we of mothers when there's such a man as Orlando?
Who comes here?
Master and mistress, you oft inquire of the shepherd you saw complain of love, who talked to me by the turf, praising the proud, disdainful woman who was his mistress.
Well, and what of him?
If you wish to see a pageant truly played between the pale complexion of true love and the red glow of scorn and proud disdain, go hence a little, and I will conduct you, you shall mark it.
Oh, come, let us remove. The sight of lovers feedeth those in love. Bring us to the sight, and you shall say, I'll prove a busy actor in your play.
Nearby in the forest of Arden.
Sweet Phoebe, do not scorn me. Do not, Phoebe. Say that you love me not, but say so and not in bitterness. The common executioner, whose heart is accustomed sight of death makes hard, falls not the axe upon the humble neck, but first begs pardon. Will you stir to be that then he dies and lives by bloody drops?
I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou sayest there is murder in mine eyes? 'Tis pretty, sure, and very probable that eyes, which are the frailest and softest of things, who shut their coward gates on Amiens, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now, I do frown on thee with all of my heart. And now if mine eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. Now counterfeit to swoon, now fall down. Or, if thou canst, oh, for shame, lie not to say mine eyes are murderers. Now show me the wound my eye hath made in thee. Scratch thee but with a pin, and there remains some scar of it. Lean but upon a rush, the cicatrice and capable in pressure thy palm some moment keeps. But now mine eyes, which I have darted at thee, hurt thee not, nor I'm sure there is no force in eyes that can do hurt.
Oh, dear Phoebe, if ever, as ever may be near, you meet in the fresh cheek and power of fancy, then shall you know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time, come not thou near me. And when that time comes, afflict me with thy mocks, pity me not. As till that time, I shall not pity thee.
And why, I pray you? Who might be your mother that you insult, exalt, and all at once over the wretched? What, though you have no beauty? As by my faith I see no more in you than without candle may go dark to bed, must you be therefore proud and pitiless? Why, what means this? Why do you look on me? I see no more in you than in the ordinary of nature's sales work. Odds my little life, I think she means to tangle my eyes too. No, faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. You, foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her, like foggy south puffing with wind and rain? You are 1,000 times a proper man than she a woman. 'Tis such fools that make the world full of ill-favored children. 'Tis not her glass, but you who flatters her, and out of you she finds herself more proper than any of her lineaments could show her. But, mistress, know yourself, down on your knees and thank heaven, fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you friendly in your ear, sell when you can, you are not for all markets. Cry the man mercy, love him, take his offer. Foul is most foul, being foul to be a scoffer. So take her to thee, shepherd. Fare you well.
Sweet youth, I pray you chide a year together. I'd rather hear you chide than this man woo.
He's fallen in love with your foulness. And she'll fall in love with my anger. If it be so, as soon as she answer thee with frowning looks, I'll sauce her with bitter words. Why look you so upon me?
For no ill will I bear you.
I pray you, do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. If you would know my house, 'tis at the tuft of olives here hard by. Will you go, sister? Shepherd, ply her hard. Come, sister. Shepherdess, look on him better and be not proud. Though all the world could see, none could be so abused in sight as he. Come to our flock.
Dear shepherd, now I find thy saw of might. Whoever loved that loved not at first sight.
Sweet Phoebe.
Ha! What sayest thou, Silvius?
Sweet Phoebe, pity me.
Why, I am sorry for thee, gentle Silvius.
Where sorrow is, relief would be. If you did sorrow my grief and love by giving love, your sorrow and my grief would both exterminate.
Thou hast my love, is not that neighborly?
I would have you.
Why, that were covetousness. Silvius, the time was that I hated thee, and yet it is not that I bear thee love. But since thou canst talk of love so well, thy company, which erst was irksome to me, I'll endure, and I'll employ thee too. But look for no further recompense than thine own gladness that thou art employed.
So holy and so perfect is my love, and I in such poverty or grace, that I shall think in the most plenteous crop to glean the broken ears after the man the main harvest reaps. Loose now and then a scattered smile, and that I live upon.
Knowest thou the youth that spoke to me erewhile?
Not very well, but I have met him oft. He hath brought the cottage to the bounds that the old Carlot once was master of.
Think not that I love him, though I ask for him. 'Tis but a peevish boy. Yet he talks well. But what care I for words? Yet words do well when he that speaks them please those that hear. But sure, he's proud. Yet his pride becomes him. He'll make a proper man. The best thing in him is his complexion, and faster than his tongue did make offense, his eye did heal it up. He's not very tall, and yet for his years he's tall. His leg is but so-so, and yet 'tis well. There was a bright red in his lip, a little brighter and more lusty red than that mixed in his cheek. 'Twas just the difference betwixt that constant red and the mingled damask. There be some women, Silvius, had they marked him in parcels as I did, would have gone near him and fallen in love with him. But for my part, I love him not, or hate him not. And yet I have more reason to hate him than to love him. For what had he do to chide at me? I marvel why I answered not again. But that's all one, admittance is no quittance. I'll write him a very taunting letter, and thou shalt bear it. Wilt thou, Silvius?
Oh, Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight. The matter's in my head and in my heart. I'll be bitter with him and passing short. Go with me, Silvius.
Ganymede and Celia meet Jaques while waiting for Orlando's return.
I prithee, pretty youth, let me be better acquainted with thee.
They say you are a melancholy lady.
I am so. I do love it better than laughing.
Those that are in the extremity of either are abominable fellows and betray themselves to every modern censure worse than drunkards.
Why, 'tis good to be sad and say nothing.
Why then, 'tis good to be a post.
I have neither the scholar's melancholy, which is emulation, nor the musician's, which is fantastical, nor the courtier's, which is proud, nor the soldier's, which is ambitious, nor the lawyer's, which is politic, nor the lady's, which is nice, nor the lover's, which are all of these. It is a melancholy of mine own, extracted from simples, extracted from many objects. Indeed, the sundry contemplation of my travels, in which my often rumination wraps me in a most humorous sadness.
A traveler, by my faith, you have great reason to be sad. I fear you have sold your own lands to see other men's. Then to have seen much and to have nothing is to have rich eyes and poor hands.
Yes, I have gained my experience.
And your experience makes you sad. I had rather a fool to make me merry than experience to make me sad, and to travel for it too.
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
Nay, then, God be with you.
Farewell, Madame Traveler. Why, how now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? You, a lover, and you serve me such another trick. Never come in my sight more.
My fair Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise in love? He that shall divide a minute into 1,000 parts and break but a part of the 1,000 part of a minute in the affairs of love. It may be said of him that Cupid hath clapped him o'er the shoulder, but I'll warrant him heart whole.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Nay, and you be so tardy, come no more in my sight. I as had of lief be wooed of a snail.
Of a snail?
Aye, a snail. For though he comes slowly, he brings his house on his head. A better jointure, I think, than you make a woman. Besides, he brings his destiny with him.
What's that?
Why, horns.
Virtue is no horn maker, and my Rosalind is virtuous.
And I am your Rosalind.
It pleases him to call you so, but he hath a Rosalind of a better leer than you.
Come, woo me, for now I am in a holiday humor and like enough to consent. What would you say to me in were I your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss before I'd spoke.
Nay, you were better speak first, and then when you were out, then you might take occasion to kiss. Very good orators, when they are out, they will spit. And for lovers lacking, God warn us, matter, the cleanliest shift is to kiss.
How if the kiss be denied?
Then she puts you to entreaty, and there begins new matter.
Who could be out being before his beloved mistress?
Am I not your Rosalind?
I take some joy in saying you are, but only because I will be talking to her.
Well, in her person I say, I will not have you.
Well, then in my own person I die.
No, faith, die by attorney. The world is nearly 6,000 years old, and there was never any man died in his own person, videlicet, in a love cause. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my right Rosalind of this mind, for I protest her frown might kill me.
By this hand it will not kill a fly. But come, now I shall be your Rosalind in a more coming on disposition, and ask what you will, I will grant it.
Then love me, Rosalind.
Yes, faith will I, Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
Aye, and 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Why, then can someone desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister, you must be the priest and marry us. Give me your hand, Orlando. What do you say, sister?
I cannot say the words.
You must begin, will you, Orlando?
Go to, will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
Aye, but when?
Right now, as fast as you can marry us.
Then you must say, I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I might ask for your commission, but I do take thee, Orlando, for my husband. There's a girl goes before the priest, and surely a woman's thought runs before her actions.
So do all thoughts, they are winged.
Now tell me, how long would you have her now that you've possessed her?
forever, and a day.
Say a day without the ever. No, no, Orlando. Men are April when they woo, December when they wed. Maids are May when they are maids, but the sky changes when they are wives. I will be more jealous of thee than a Barbary cock pigeon over his hen, more clamorous than a parrot against rain. I shall weep for nothing like Diana in the fountain, and I shall do that when you are inclined to sleep. I shall laugh like a hyena, and that when you are inclined to be merry.
But will my Rosalind do so?
By my faith, she will do as I do.
Oh, but she is wise.
Well, she would not have the wit to do this. The wiser, the waywarder. Close the doors on a woman's wit, it will out at the casement. Shut that, 'twill out at the keyhole. Stop that, it will out with the smoke of the chimney.
Oh, for these 2 hours, my sweet Rosalind, I will leave thee.
Alas, dear love, I cannot lack thee 2 hours.
I have to attend the Duchess at dinner, but by 2 o'clock, I will be with thee again.
Aye, go your ways. Go your ways. I knew what you would prove. My friends told me as such, and I thought no different. That flattering tongue of yours won me. It is such as one cast away, and so, come, death. 2 o'clock is your hour?
Aye, sweet Rosalind.
By my troth, and in good earnest, and so God mend me, and by all pretty oaths that are not dangerous, if you break one jot of your promise, or come 1 minute behind your hour, I shall think you the most pathetical break promise, and the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of her you call Rosalind, that could be chosen out of the gross band of the unfaithful. Therefore, beware my censure, and keep your promise.
With no less religion, if thou wert indeed my Rosalind, so adieu.
Well, time is the old justice that examines such offenders, and let time try. Adieu.
You have simply misused our sex in your love prate.
Oh, coz, oh my pretty little coz, that thou didst know how many fathom deep I am in love. But it cannot be sounded. My affection hath an unknown bottom, like the Bay of Portugal.
Or rather bottomless, that as fast as you pour love in, it runs out.
No, I tell thee, Aliena, I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando. I'll go find a shadow and sigh till he come.
And I'll sleep.
Hours pass in the forest, and the afternoon approaches.
How say you now? Is it not past 2 o'clock? And here much Orlando.
I warrant you, with pure love and troubled brain, he hath taken his bow and arrows and has gone forth to sleep. Look who comes here.
My errand is for you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe did bid me give you this. I know not the contents, but I guess by the stern brow and the waspish action which she used when she was writing of it, it bears an angry tenor. Pardon me, I am but as a guiltless messenger.
Patience herself would startle at this letter and play the swaggerer. Bear this, bear all. She says I am not fair, that I lack manners. She calls me proud, that she could not love me more man as rare as Phoenix. Odds my will, her love is not the hare that I do hunt. Why writes she so to me? Well, shepherd, well, this is a letter of your own device.
No, I protest. I don't know the contents of it. Phoebe did write this.
Come, you are a fool and turned into the extremity of love. Why, 'tis a boisterous and a cruel style. Will you hear the letter?
So please you, I've never heard of it. I've only heard of Phoebe's cruelty.
She Phoebe's me. Mark how the tyrant writes. Art thou God to shepherd turned, that a maiden's heart hath burned? Can a woman rail thus?
Call you this railing?
Why thy godhead laid apart, warst thou with a woman's heart? Did you ever hear such railing? Whiles the eye of man did woo me, that could do no vengeance to me, meaning me a beast. If the scorn of your bright eyne have power to raise such love in mine, alack, in me what strange effect would they work in mild aspect? Whilst you chid me, I did love, how then might your prayers move? He that brings this love to thee little knows this love in me. By him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will the faithful offer take of me and all that I can make, or else by him my love deny, and then I'll study how to die.
Call you this child?
Alas, poor shepherd.
Do you pity him? No, he deserves no pity. Wilt thou love such a woman? What, to make thee an instrument and play false strains upon thee, not to be endured? Well, go your ways to her, for I see that love hath made thee a tame snake. And tell her this, that if she love me, I charge her to love thee. If she will not, I will never have her unless thou entreat for her. If you be a true lover, hence, and not a word, for look, here comes more company.
Tomorrow, fair ones. Pray you if you know where in the purlieu of this forest stands a sheepcote fenced about olive trees.
West of this place, down in the neighbor bottom, the rank of osiers by the murmuring stream, left on your right hand brings you to the place. But at this hour the house doth keep itself, there's none within.
If that and I may profit by a tongue, then should I know you by description, such garments, such years. Are not you the owner of the house I did inquire for?
It is no boast, being asked to say we are.
Orlando doth commend him to you both. And to that youth he calls his Rosalind, he sends this bloody napkin. Are you he?
I am. What are we to understand by this?
Some of my shame. You'll know of me, what man I am, and how, and why, and where this handkerchief was stained.
I pray you, tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted from you, he promised within an hour to return again, and pacing through the forest, chewing the food of sweet or bitter fancy, lo, what befell! He threw his eye aside and marked what object did present itself under an old oak whose boughs are all moss of age and high-top ball of dry antiquity. A wretched, ragged man, overgrown with hair, lay sleeping on his back. About his neck, a green and gilded snake had wreathed itself, who with her head nimble in threats approached the opening of his mouth. But suddenly, seeing Orlando, it unlinked itself, and with a deaded glides did slip away into a bush, under which bush's shade a lioness with udders all drawn dry lay couching, head on ground with cat-like watch, when that the sleeping man should stir, for 'tis the royal disposition of that beast, apparent nothing it oft seem as dead. This scene, Orlando did approach the man and found it was his brother, his elder brother.
Oh, I have heard him speak of this same brother, and he did render him the most unnatural that lived amongst men.
Yes, and well he might do so, for well I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando, did he leave him there, food to the sucked and hungry lioness?
Twice did he turn his back, purpose so. Kindness, noble ever than revenge, and nature strong to his just occasion, made him give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him, in which hurtling from miserable slumber, I awaked.
Are you his brother?
Wast you he rescued?
Wast you that did so oft contrive to kill him?
Was I, but 'tis not I. I'm not ashamed to tell you what I was, since my conversion so sweetly tastes, being the thing I am.
But for the bloody napkin.
By and by, when from the first to last betwixt us two, tears are counted, so most kindly babe, so I came into that desert place. In brief, he led me unto the gentle Duchess, gave me fresh array and entertainment, committing me unto my brother's love, who led me unto his cave, there stripped himself, and here upon his arm, the lioness had torn some flesh away, which all this while had bled. And now he fainted and cried in fainting upon Rosalind. Brief, I recovered him, bound up his wound, and after some small space, being strong at heart, he sent me hither, stranger as I am, to tell this story, that he might excuse his broken promise, and to give this napkin, dyed in his blood, unto the shepherd youth that he, in sport, doth call his Rosalind.
Why, how now? Ganymede, sweet Ganymede.
And will swoon when they do look on blood.
There's more in it. Cousin Ganymede.
Oh, look, he recovers.
I would I were at home.
will lead you thither. I pray you, will you take him by the arm?
You good cheer, youth. You a man? You like a man's heart.
I do so, I confess it. Ah, Sarah, a body would think this was well counterfeited. I pray you, tell your brother how well I counterfeited. Hey ho.
This was not counterfeit. There's too great testimony in complexion. There was a passion of earnest.
Counterfeit, I assure you.
Well then, take good heart and counterfeit to be a man.
So I do, but if faith, I should have been a woman by right.
Come, you look paler and paler. I pray you draw homewards. Good sir, go with us.
That will I, for I must bear answer back. I excuse my brother, Rosalind.
I will devise something, but I pray you, commend my counterfeiting to him. Where do you go?
Nearby in the forest of Arden.
We shall find a time, Audrey. Patience, gentle Audrey.
Faith, the priest was good enough for all the old ladies saying.
But Audrey, there's a youth in the forest here lays claim to you.
I know who 'tis. He hath no interest in me, in the world. Here comes the man you mean.
It is meat and drink to me to see a clown. We that have good wits have much to answer for. We shall be flouting. We cannot hold.
Gentle Audrey.
God give good evening, William.
And good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, gentle friend. Cover thy head, cover thy head. Nay, prithee be covered. How old are you, friend?
25, sir.
A ripe age. Is thy name William?
Aye, William, sir.
A fair name. Wast born in the forest here?
Aye, sir, thank God.
Thank God. A good answer. Art rich?
Faith, sir, so-so.
So-so is good, very excellent good. And yet it is not, it is but so-so. Art thou wise?
I have a fair wit.
Oh, why you sayest well. I do now remember a saying, the fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man know himself to be a fool. You are in love with this maid?
Aye, sir.
Give me your hand. Art thou learned?
No, sir.
Then learn this of me. To have is to have, for it is a figure in rhetoric that drink, when poured from a cup into a glass, by filling one, doth empty the other. For all your writers do consent that Ipsy is he. Now you are not Ipsy, for I am he.
Which he, sir?
He, sir, that must marry this woman. Therefore you, clown, abandon, which is in the vulgar leave, the society, which in the boorish is company, of this female, which in the common is woman, which together is, abandon the society of this female, or, clown, thy perishest, or to thy better understanding diest, or to wit, I kill thee, translate thy life into death, thy liberty into bondage. I will deal with thee in poison, or in bastinado, or in steel. I will bandy with thee in faction. I will overrun thee with policy. I will kill thee 150 ways. Therefore tremble and depart.
Do. Good, William.
Our master and mistress seek you. Come away, away.
Trip, Audrey, trip, Audrey. I attend, I attend.
Near the cottage where Rosalind, Celia, and Touchstone now live.
Is it possible that on so little acquaintance you should like her, that but seeing you should love her, and loving woo and wooing she should grant, and will you persever to enjoy her?
Neither call the gaze of it in question, the poverty of her, the small acquaintance, my son wooing, nor her son consenting, but say with me, I love Aliena. Say with her that she loves me, consent with both that we may enjoy each other. For it will be to your good, for my father's house, and all the revenue that was old Sir Roland's will, I state upon you. And here live and die a shepherd.
You have my consent. Let your wedding be tomorrow. Thither I will invite the Duchess and all contented followers. Go you, prepare Aliena. For, oh, look you, here comes my Rosalind.
God save you, brother.
And you, fair sister.
Oh, my dear Orlando, how it grieves me to see thee wear thy heart in a scarf.
It's my arm.
I thought your heart had been wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded, yes, but with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to swoon when he showed me your handkerchief?
Aye, and greater wonders than that.
Oh, I know where you are, for your brother and my sister no sooner met but they looked, no sooner looked but they loved, no sooner loved but they sighed, no sooner sighed but they asked one another the reason, and no sooner knew that reason but they sought the remedy, and in these ways have they made a pair of stairs to marriage. They're in the very wrath of love, and they will together. Clubs cannot part them.
They will be married tomorrow, and I will bid the Duchess to the nuptial. But oh, how bitter a thing it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes. By so much more, by tomorrow I shall be at the heights of heart's heaviness. By how much I shall think of my brother happy in what he wishes for.
Why then, tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind?
No longer live by thinking.
I will weary you then no longer by idle talking. Know of me now, for I speak to some purpose, that I know you are a gentleman of good conceit. Believe then, if you please, that I can do strange things. I have, since I was 3-year-old, conversed with a magician, most profound in his art, and yet not damnable. For if you do love Rosalind so near the heart as your gesture cries it out, when your brother marry Aliena, shall you marry her? I know into what straits of fortune she is thrown, and it is not impossible for me, if it appear not inconvenient to you, to set her before you tomorrow, human as she is, and without any danger.
Speakest thou in sober meanings?
By my life I do, which I tender dearly, though I say I'm a magician. Therefore, get you in your best array, bid your friends, for if you be married tomorrow, you shall, and to Rosalind, if you will. Look, here comes a lover of mine and a lover of hers.
Youth, you have done me much ungentleness to show the letter I writ to you.
I care not if I have. It is my study to appear despiteful and ungentle to you. You are there followed by a faithful shepherd. Look upon him, love him, he worships you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth what 'tis to love.
It is to be made of all of sighs and tears, and so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be made of all faith and service, and so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be made of all fantasy, all made of passion, and all made of wishes, all adoration, duty, and observations, observance. All humbleness, all patience and impatience, all purity, all trial, and all observance. And so I am for Phoebe.
And so I am for Ganymede.
So I am for Rosalind.
And so I am for no woman.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
Why do you speak too? Why blame you me to love you?
To her that is not here, nor doth not hear.
Pray you, enough of this. It is like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. Shepherd, I will help you if I can. Phoebe, I would love you if I could. Together, meet me here tomorrow. Phoebe, I will marry you if ever I marry woman, and I shall be married tomorrow. Orlando, I will satisfy you if ever I satisfy man, and you shall be married tomorrow. Shepherd, I will content you if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be married tomorrow. As you love Rosalind, meet. As you love Phoebe, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. So fare you well. I have left you commands.
I will not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
In the forest of Arden, Touchstone and Audrey anxiously await their wedding day.
Tomorrow's the joyful day, Audrey. Tomorrow we will be married.
I do desire it with all my heart, and I hope it is not a dishonest desire, to desire to be a woman of the world. Oh, here come two of the banished Duchess's ladies.
Well met, honest gentlemen.
By my troth, well met. Come, come, in a song.
We're here for you.
Shall we clap into it roundly without talking or spitting or saying we are hoarse, which are the only prologues to a bad voice?
In faith, like two gypsies on a horse.
Was a lover and his lass with the hay and a hoe and a hay nonny know that o'er the green cornfields did pass in springtime the only pretty ring time when birds do sing hey ring a ding ding. Sweet lovers love the spring.
Between the acres of the road with a hay and a hoe and a hay nonny know, these pretty country folks would lie in springtime, the only pretty ring time, when birds do sing, hey, hey, ding a ding. Sweet lovers love the spring.
This carol they began that hour with the hay and the hoe and the hay nonny know how that a life was but a flower in springtime, the only pretty ring time, when birds do sing hey ring a ding ding. Sweet lovers love the spring.
And therefore take the present time with a hay and a hoe and a hay nonny know, for love is crowned with a prime in springtime, the only pretty ring time,
when birds do sing hey ring a ding ding. Sweet lovers love the spring.
Truly, young ladies, though there was no great matter in the ditty, yet the note was very untunable.
You were deceived, sir. We kept time. We lost not our time.
By my troth, I counted, but time lost to hear such a foolish song. Huh. God be with you, and God mend your voices. Come, Audrey.
Near the cottage, all are assembling for the marriage of our three couples.
Dost thou believe, Orlando, that the boy can do all this that he hath promised?
I sometimes do believe and sometimes do not, as those that fear that they hope and know they fear.
Patience once more whiles our compact is urged. Duchess, you say if I bring in your Rosalind, you will bestow her on Orlando here?
That would I, had I kingdoms to give her.
And Orlando, you will receive her when I bring her?
That would I, were by all kingdoms king.
Phoebe, you will marry me if I be willing.
That will I, should I die the hour after.
But if you do refuse me, you'll give yourself to this most faithful shepherd.
So is the bargain.
Silvius, you'll have Phoebe if she refuse me?
Though to have her and death were both one thing.
I have come to make all these matters even. Keep you your word, O Duchess, to bestow your daughter. You yours, Orlando, to receive her. Keep you your word, Phoebe, to marry me, or else refusing me to wed this shepherd. Keep your word, Silvius, to marry Phoebe if she refuse me. And from hence I go to make all these doubts even.
I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favor.
My lord, when I first saw him, methought he was the brother to your daughter.
There is sure another flood towards, and these couples are coming to the ark. Oh, here comes a pair of very strange beasts in which all tongues are called fools.
Salutation and greetings to you all.
Good, my lady. Bid him welcome. This is the motley-minded gentleman that I have so often met in the forest. He hath been a courtier, he swears.
If any man doubt that, let him put me to my purgation. I have trod a measure. I have flattered a lady. I have been politic with my friend and smooth with mine enemy. I have undone 3 tailors. I've had 4 quarrels and like to have fought one.
And how was that taken up?
Faith, madam, we met and found the quarrel was upon the 7th cause.
How? 7th cause? Oh, good my lady, like this fellow.
Oh, I like him very well.
Good ill to Duchess, I desire you of the like. I press in here amongst the rest of the country copulatives to swear and forswear as marriage binds and blood breaks. A poor virgin, madam, an ill-favored thing, madam, but mine own. Oh, a poor humor of mine to take that no man else will. Oh, rich honesty dwells like a miser, madam, in a poor house, as your pearl in your foul oyster.
By my faith, he is very swift and sententious.
According to the fool's bold and such dulcet diseases.
But for how 7th cause? How did you find this quarrel in the 7th cause?
Upon a lie 7 times removed. Bear your body more seeming, Audrey. As thus, madam. I did dislike the cut of a certain courtier's beard. He sent me word that if I thought it was not well cut, he was in the mind it was. This is called the retort courteous. If I sent him word again it was not well cut, he would send me word that he cut it to please himself. This is called the quit modest. If again it was not well cut, he disabled my judgment. This is called the reply churlish. If again it was not well cut, he would answer me I spake not true. This is called the reproof valiant. If again it was not well cut, he would say I lied. This is called the countercheck quarrelsome, and so to the lie circumstantial and the lie direct.
But how oft did you say his beard was not well cut?
Oh, I durst go no further than the lie circumstantial, nor he durst go no further than the lie direct. And so we measured swords and parted.
Can you nominate and order the degrees of the lie?
Oh, madam, we quarrel in print, as you have books for good manners. I will name you the degrees. The first, the retort courteous. The second, the quit modest. The third, the reply churlish. The fourth, the reproof valiant. Countercheck quarrelsome. The sixth, the lie circumstantial. And the seventh, the lie direct. All of these you may avoid, but the lie direct. But you may avoid that too with an if. Your if is the only peacemaker. Much virtue in the if.
Is not this a rare fellow, my lady? He's as good at anything, and yet a fool.
He uses his folly like a stalking horse, and under the presentation of that, he shoots his wit.
Then is there mirth in heaven, when earthly things made even atone together. Good Duchess, receive thy daughter. Hymen from heaven brought her, yea, brought her hither, that thou might join her hand in his, whose heart within his bosom is.
To you I give myself, for I am yours. To you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
There be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, why then, my love, adieu.
I'll have no mother if you be not she. I'll have no husband if you be not he, nor ne'er wed woman if you be not she.
Peace ho, I bar confusion. 'Tis I must make conclusion of these most strange events. Here's 8 that must take hands to join in Hymen's bands. If truth holds true contents, you and you no cross shall part. You and you are heart and heart. You to his love must accord, or have a woman to your lord. You and you are sure together as winter to foul weather.
While the wedlock hymn we sing, feed yourselves in questioning. The reason wonder may diminish, how thus we met and these things finish.
Oh, my dear niece, welcome thou art to me, even daughter, in no less degree.
I will not eat my word. Now thou art mine. Thy faith my fancy to thee doth combine.
Let me have the audience for a word or two. I am the second child of old Sir Roland, and bring these tidings to this fair assembly. Duke Fredrick, hearing how that every day ladies of great worth resort to this forest, addressed by a mighty power which were on foot, in his home conduct purposely to take his sister here and put her to the sword, and to the skirts of this wild wood he came, where meeting with an old religious man, after some questions with him, was converted from both his enterprise and the world, his crown bequeathing to his banished sister, and with all their lands restored to them again, that were with her exiled. To this be true, I do engage my life.
Welcome, young one. Thou offerest fairly to thy brother's wedding, to one his lands withheld, and to the other a land itself at large, a potent dukedom. First in this forest let us do those ends that were here well begun and well begot, and after every of this happy number that have endured shrewd days and nights with us, shall share the good of our returned fortune, according to the measures of their states. Meantime, forget this new-fallen dignity, and fall into our rustic revelry. Play, music, and you brides and bridegrooms all, with measure heaped in joy to the measures fall.
By my patience, if I heard you rightly, the Duke hath taken on a religious life and thrown into neglect a pompous court.
He hath.
To him will I, and out of these convertites there is much matter to be heard and learned. Oh, to you, Duchess, to your former honor I bequeath. Your virtue and your patience well deserves it. You, Orlando, to a love that your true faith doth merit. You, Oliver, to your land and love and great allies. You, shepherd, to a long and well-deserved bed. And you, fool, to wrangling for thy loving voyage is but 2 months victualled. Ah, so to your pleasures, I am for others but dancing measures.
Stay, Jaques, stay.
To see no pastime I. What you have, I'll stay to know at your abandoned cave.
Proceed, proceed. We'll begin these rites, as we do trust they'll end in delights.
It is not the fashion to see the lady the epilogue, but it is no less unhandsome than to see the lord the prologue. If it be true that good wine need no bush, then 'tis true that a good play need no epilogue. Yet to good wine they do use good bushes, and good plays are made the better by the help of a good epilogue. What a case am I in them, that I'm neither a good epilogue nor can insinuate with you on the behalf of a good play. I am not furnished like a beggar, therefore to beg will not become me. My way is to conjure you, and I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, to like as much of this play as please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, as I perceive by your simperings none of you hates them, that between you and the women the play might please. If I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breasts that I defied not. And I'm sure that as many as have good beards, or good faces, or sweet breaths will, for my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell.